Alright, what's going on, folks? So, I wanted to start doing. Actually, let me log in again. Doing like video diaries of my labbing, just so I can always watch back and see what I did in certain things. But then also, uh, I might solve an issue that you guys are probably working on, or whatever the case is, that I can help out with. So, I'm logging into my INE account now to get access to my workbooks. I've been working through the CCIE Service Provider Workbook. Um, let's see, version 4. I've been working through this workbook here, as well as doing a bunch of labs on my own, but now I decided let me just go ahead and do something with some guidance, so I decided to start following these labs. And I went through so far, and I'm on the L3 VPN with Central Services. The first couple topics were pretty easy. Most of those you can do in your sleep, and I figured this is one of the ones that I wanted to go ahead and try to record myself doing, just so I, just so I can get a record of it, and might be able to help you guys solve some of the issues or through the scenario. So it's a pretty big scenario. The lab that I'm working with is I have a, CSR 1000V lab build out. So this is my CSR 1000V routers. Uh, the workbook, the INE All Access Pass gives you access to the configuration of the devices as well. So I got all the initial configs already preloaded on my CSR rack. So that's pretty good. And so essentially, all we're going to do is just work through the steps. Actually, have to close this down because it's throwing me off. And then Central Services. And then open that. It shouldn't be that way either. Cool. So, with that being said, we're just going to go ahead and start working through it. So, let's look at our task. So first task is configure a VRF VPN on A on R2 with route distinguisher 101. Assign it to the connected link to 1. So essentially, let's go to the diagram here. What it's saying is we need to create VRFs on our PE routers, which are going to be 2, 4, 5, and XR1. 2, 4, 5, XR1 are going to be PE routers for this site, for this configuration. And I need to configure the VPNs for it. And then I need to create a RIP version 2 on all CE links, PE to CE links. So we're going to use RIP version 2 as our routing protocol between our PE to CE, which sucks because that's one I don't do a lot of, you know, of my own labs with, because who uses RIP, right? So, hopefully I remember how to get that configured. um, Configure BGP. So we're going to do MPBGP. It's saying a full mesh configuration between all the routers. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a route reflector design because it's still the same exact. Let's see, configure a full mesh. It doesn't necessarily say how to do the mesh. So you can do route reflectors, I'm going to assume, because that's what you use them for anyway. So I'm going to use route reflectors for my MPBGP sessions. And then configure route target export policies on PE routers following. So essentially, what we're doing is we're route leaking. We're going to be doing export policies on all the PEs to advertise different loopbacks with different route target. So okay, we just got to follow that, and then same thing with the import policies, and then we're going to test reachability at the end. So let's get started. So the first part we're going to do is let's go ahead and configure the VRFs and the routers. So R2 gets done. Okay, so R2 needs VPN 1, A, B, C, D, and that's it. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and create our VPNs. I'm going to kind of do most of this in chunks. So VRF definition, VPN A for R2, route distinguisher 100.01, or target both 100.01, address family IPv4, the unicast, and then we're going to assign the link connecting to R1, which is gig 12. Alright, so interface gig 1.12. show run interface gig 1.12. So VRF forwarding VPN A. Get that IP address put back on there. So that's good. Step one's done. Same thing on router 4. Let's go ahead and create that. So I'm just gonna show run section VRF VPN A. Did I spell VRF wrong? Oh, I didn't. I don't think that was about. Okay, so take that. Router 4. Router 4, we need to do VPN B with route targets. Oh, okay. Didn't tell me to do route targets, so gotta pay attention here. Moving ahead. So let's go ahead and go back here. Let's go into this, and we're gonna do a no. We're gonna do a no. We just gotta do route distinguishers. So take this out. 2. This will be B. So router 4. Oops. So, and then between 4 and 7. So let's look. Gig 147. Interface gig 1.47. So let's go ahead. Configure this. We are forwarding VPN B. Pull the IP address back on it. It should be validating. Let's just do a quick validation to make sure. Show IP route VRF VPN B. It's got the connector route in there. And we're going to need to do the same thing on router 5, I believe, for router 8. So we're going to create that VPN. Just go up. His route distinguisher is 03. And then interface gig.1 on 58. Do show run. 58. And then VRF forwarding VPN C. Roll this guy back on. Okay, and then XR1 VPN D. So let's log into XR1. VRF VPN D. Address family IPv4 unicast. Commit. Show run interface gig 1920, which is going to be this interface here. So XR1, iOS XR is a little tricky. You have to do order. What the heck is this? Oh, we got to go into the interface first. It's order of operations intensive. So, you know how iOS XR will automatically remove the IP address from the interface. iOS XE does that. iOS XR does not. So you have to do a series of commits, as you can see I'm doing here. VPN-D, and then recommit, and then add the IP address again. Moving faster than it can think. Good. So route VPN-D. Good. So we're good to go there. So let's see what's next. So we got all that done. Actually, well, we got to do an extra step on XR1 anyway when we create the BGP, which is next. So let's go ahead and just do that and get that over with so I don't forget that step. Because the route distinguisher, unlike iOS XE where it's set up in the actual VRF configuration, where iOS XR, it's set up in the in the BGP instance of the VRF. So you have to do this, VPN D, and then you set your route distinguisher here. So just so I have it there, I'm just gonna get that preset. That's good. Now configure RIP version 2 on all CPE to CE links and advertise CE loopback interfaces into RIP. Alright, so that means on all these links here, I need to advertise RIP version 2 and then advertise the loopbacks into RIP version 2. So let's start with router 1 going into router 2. So router 1, let's go ahead and unshut the interface. So we're going to start router RIP version 2, no auto summary, and then we're going to do network 1.1.1.1, and then we're going to do network 10.1.2.0. Okay. Now for router 2, since this is going to be a rip and wear process, we're going to do router RIP, address family, IPv4, VRF, VPN-A, no auto summary, and version 2, and then we're going to do network 1.2.0. So show IP route, VRF, VPN-A. RIP takes a second. Let's see. Make sure I got everything I need. Like I said, it's been a while since I configured RIP. Don't use it much. Don't like to use it, but I should just for this particular case start because it becomes a pain in the butt once you start needing to get it working. So it because the slow timers will RIP. I think it's like 180 seconds for convergence. 30. It's slow as hell. So it's there. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. So 4 to 7. So 4 is my PE. So let's go ahead and do router RIP. And actually take the same config, show run section router RIP. Router 4, he's going to be using VRFB. There we go. And then let's go to 7. And same thing, show run section router RIP. We'll just take this out and modify. So this will be 7S7 to 7. That's going to stay the same. So it's good to go. Router 4. Oops, don't want that. Show IP route VRF VPNB. Good. Now 5. Just take the same config. 5 is going to be VPN-C. Alright. And then XR1. Oh wait. You do router 8. So same here. 8.8.8.8. Config T. Boom. Check router 5. Show route VRF VPN-C. Good to go. And now XR1. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing. Router RIP VRF VPN D. No auto summary. And here we introduce the interface. 1920. Send version 2. Receive version 2. I want to say that's it. I believe that's all I need here. Okay, and then XR2, router rip, no auto summary, interface, 1920, send version 2, receive version 2, commit, show route, VPN. Let's give it a sec. Oh, gotta add the loopback interface. Interface loopback 0, commit. And sucks about RIP. There's no neighbor states. It's just sending raw datagrams. Make sure. Okay, good. RIP is good. So we configured that task. So all this is done. That is done. And now we're going to configure BGP on our sessions. And what we're going to do is VPN. You know what? We'll just go ahead and follow the scenario. I could do it because there's something else I'm going to have to enable, which is route target filtering stuff. Because all the VRFs won't exist on my route reflector, so I can go ahead and do that. But let's go ahead and configure BGP 100. And we're going to do a full mesh. Just keep it simple. Da-da-da. And redistribute the VPN v4. Okay, so easy. Alright, so on our PEs here, we're going to go router BGP 100. I like doing templates, just makes life easier and makes the configuration cleaner. BGP remote AS is 100, update source loopback 0, and then template pure policy IBGP VPN v4, send community both, just to have that in there. And then just start. And then I also do this command here, no BGP default IPv4 unicast. And then let's go ahead and add it. 10. So we need to go to, we're going to build neighborships between 2, 4, 5, and 19. To inherit per session IBGP. Oh, I am due. Let's do 4 first. And then peer CIBGP VPN v4. And that's just going to be my template that I'm going to use, section router BGP. So that way I just have a template to work from. It just makes it easier. Pull up my notepad here. So I'm going to need to configure one for 5 and 19. And then 19. Same thing here. 5 and same thing here. So I don't need this here because that automatically goes in there anyway. And plus, I also have it in the policy map, but and the template. I mean, but anyway, let's go ahead and dump this config onto router 2, and that's good. So we're gonna go to router 4 and let's change this address to 2. At least that session should come up here shortly. Forgot that. Then to router 5. Okay, that's good. And then XR1, which is a little different, so VPN. So you gotta activate the address family first with XR1, and then IPv4 unicast. Oh, I don't want a unicast. Don't want that. So commit show run router BGP. That's all I need there. Perfect. So for unicast. So let's go ahead and do my neighbors. Remote AS 100 address family v4 unicast, and that's it. So we'll do this a couple times. 4.4.4, and then 4.5 and commit. Should bring up my neighbors between 19. Oop, forgot one major thing. Router BGP 100 neighbor 2.2.2.2. Should it work? Shouldn't work. It's not gonna work. Okay. Update source loopback 0. And my neighborship should come up here shortly. Alright, so BGP all summary looks good. Summary looks good. BGP all summary looks good. Show BGP all summary. Good. Alright, so BGP's up, and next thing we gotta do is advertise. So we gotta go into the VPN v4 sessions. So on router 2, order BGP 100, address family, IPv4, VRF, VPN-A, redistribute. RIP. Normally you would need to set the metric, but because this is VRF aware process, when you redistribute into RIP into BGP, do they want me to do that both ways? Yep, they do. So I don't need to set the metric there. Just gonna do a redistribute RIP router. Distribute BGP 100. Alright, that's good. BGP 100. V4 VRF VPN B. RIP. Same thing here. Hmm. That's good. And now XR1. Commits. And then it goes to the VRF. D. IPv4. So distribute RIP. Good. So that's done. And now what's next? Alright, this is a good time to stop the video. We're going to start another video. We'll pick up the next piece is we're going to actually start doing the rail target export and import policies. So let's go ahead and take a pause here and we'll come back.